Sanctus Real, where have you been? I mean, it's been so many years, and we have walked with you through the journey since the 90s. They have evolved, and there's been some shiftings, some new faces and old faces all coming together. We're going to find out all about the story right here on Praise Charts Live. I've got Dustin, who is the lead singer, Sanctus Real. They got a brand new song, The Difference. It's already making waves. We're going to find out all about that song. Here we go. This is Sanctus Real and Dustin. Here we go. See, Dustin, I just pressed record and I just got to make something up. Hopefully, it sounds reasonable, but there you go.
You did
That's what
good. You
that's what
did
I.
good, man.
Not too bad, eh?
You know what you're
Well,
doing.
it's good to know you. It's
Yeah.
interesting. Another podcast that I'm a part of is called the 90s Worship Podcast. So I'm all
Uh,
into like discovering this whole era of the 90s, and it was fascinating to see that Sanctus Real. I feel like I have heard that band for so many years. Why don't you like bring us into the zone of
yeah.
like what's the snapshot? If I was on an elevator with you
Uh,
for 3 floors and you had to
oh my
give me
God.
the story of
Yeah.
Sanctus
Yeah.
Real,
Yeah.
what would it be?
Uh, it's a organic band started in 1996.
Yes.
Uh, Started as a rock band. I mean, they were pop punk. They did.
Yes.
It was a Reliant K type stuff.
Right.
Um, great music. I wasn't in the band. I'm
No.
10 years in. But they evolved over time. Christian music evolved over time, so it wasn't just. I mean, they had to go with Christian music a little bit.
Yeah.
They became a little. They brought it back a little more mainstream, and then they had a song called "Lead Me," which kind of plugged them directly into
Yeah.
Christian AC. So they're a band that's genre has changed a few times, and then I came
Mm-hmm.
in 2015. Matt,
Mm-hmm.
the lead singer who had been there for about 19 years, he wanted to be with his family. All about, I mean, kind of a continuing story of Lead Me, and we had to
Yes.
reinvent again. We had to really
Mm-hmm.
reinvent. I have a worship background. I was a worship
Mm.
pastor for
Oh,
years.
awesome. Yeah.
So I came more from worship than I did the CCM or even the that side of it. But we've kind of reinvented. We've had over the last 10 years, we've had some big radio type songs that are more than the AC. I mean, we're older now, and
Yeah.
the Christian market, it kind of all about Christian radio, and it's been crazy 10 years. I mean, I don't know if
Yeah.
there's a band in America who's redefined themselves more than Sanctus
Yes.
Real has over the last 30 years. Chris and Mark, the other two guys in the band, are both original guys.
Yep.
And so I was invited into this process. And it's just, music is an interesting thing. Fans get into this
Mm-hmm.
genre love, and I
Mm-hmm.
appreciate that. And so the old rock guys wish we were harder.
Mm-hmm.
Then with Lead Me came. Now we have a lot of married people wishing we were still doing that. So everybody wants something from us,
Yes.
and
You know,
we're just trying to write songs with a heart message that we believe in and just represent Jesus well.
totally. And I think anybody, whether you're a person, a business, a band, or whatever, if you don't have the ability to reinvent yourself along the journey of life and you just
Right,
stay, I mean, those are the people that ultimately disappear. So, I mean, good
right.
on you. I would say, I'm sure you even have your own personal story of reinvention. You were just sharing with me, you were a worship pastor, and then,
Yeah,
coming into this band is a reinvention of self. And maybe it's
very
just
much.
a reminder to anyone listening in is like you're not necessarily limited by the world you live in right now. Why don't we dream a little? What else do you want
Yes.
to become? Where do you want to go? And this is kind of a story of that, right? So
Well, yeah, my life's a series of you never know where you'll end up if you say yes.
really,
So yeah, because I
well,
mean, I wasn't trying to be here. People don't
yeah.
understand. When the band found me, I was doing folk music with my wife, like
Ah,
totally different. And I worked in a church. I was an executive pastor. I'd been a worship pastor for years. I mean, just led worship since I was 18 years old.
yeah,
And I was rather content with what we were doing. I wasn't pursuing, record deals or big stages or anything. And
hmm
so But one thing I've always done with my wife is when opportunities come, it was like, okay, we're gonna do what we feel like God calls us to do, regardless. And we've moved.
Mm-hmm.
I was mentioning, you can look around me right now.
Yes.
We're in the middle, believe it or not, of it's either 24 or 25. This is either our 24th or our 25th move in 22
Wow.
years of.
Yeah,
So
I
we've
hear
said
you.
yes and done some weird things. We're kind of story of our life. So
Yep.
it's but I'm like a one of these guys that kind of is here, but wasn't trying to get here. It was almost like God was like, I've got something. I need you to be a part of.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
open doors. The open
There you
doors. So
go. Well, funny story. I was just showing you a picture of Praise Charts. I'll bring it up
yeah,
here, but you were like, okay, that's a bit of an older picture. So I apologize for that. I'm in process of
yeah,
updating Praise Charts with the new band. But it is kind of
yeah,
a funny story because it's almost like a little throwback of, oh yeah, that's who I remember, or that's who we
yeah.
were, or that's where it evolved from. So, and then the songs. Also, I mean, it's been a little while since we've had a new song from Sanctus Real, but some will recognize My God is Still the Same. Certainly Lead Me,
Yeah.
Forgiven. This is the journey of and Praise Church is kind of like we are with a lot
Where's
of bands.
where's
Yeah.
confidence on Where's confidence on there? That was our
Well, that's a
biggest.
good question.
That's
Oh,
our biggest song ever.
yeah,
That's
I'm
like our
looking.
biggest song.
Oh,
Where's it's
okay.
not there?
Well, let's just do a
Wait,
little, you're with the owner of Praise Charts right now. Let's go find your
we
song, Confidence. What's happening? Confidence. I
you
mean, we have
gotta
it.
add
Is that it?
that
Jeremy
song's
Good?
no. I mean,
Oh
not to
yeah.
pat the back. That song's about to go platinum.
Okay. You know what? We're just getting into like nerdy publishing talk, but there are often times that we
Yeah,
encounter songs we desperately want, but we come into I mean we license everything that comes on the site,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
So it
yeah.
might be, listen, do you want, I could just bring my publishing manager into this call
I
right
love
now. We could have a little
that.
phone chat with Charlene, find out.
Oh
But
man.
how about this? After this call, I'll chase it down and
It's
I'll send you
okay.
a
I
text.
mean, I'm glad you got my God is still the same on there.
There you go.
So it's no
Yeah.
big deal.
Yeah. Well, anyways, those are the songs of the past. We're here to talk
Yeah,
about what we do have is
yeah,
latest edition called The Difference. And I feel like
yeah.
as I've been listening to this song, it certainly reflects even the name Sanctus Real. You guys are obviously the part of your brand of your name is you want to be real, authentic, tell the life story of what it's like to live, with Christ. And this song also, it really does drive at the, okay, so you're a Christian, so what difference does it make? I think that's a good question to ask, right? I like
I
that.
think.
So why don't you tell me a little about the song, and maybe we'll look at some of the lyrics here a bit, but tell me a bit.
Yeah, we it started with a cool guitar riff, and
Yeah.
I write for other artists a lot. I live in Nashville and write for other people, and I'll always
Yeah.
have like names of songs or ideas, and I bring them to those writes. But I never do that with the band because when we go into a write, almost all of our songs come from conversation. So like our first half hour of a write is always a conversation. We just talk. If
Yes.
it's me and
Gotta be.
Chris, another guy, it doesn't matter who it is. And so I never actually have an idea because almost all of our ideas come from some conversation. We're like, okay, this is probably what we should write about today.
Right.
We have been we have been on a thing lately. I being in ministry for so long, we go to past churches all the time and we hear people's stories. Your song did this, your song meant this. But one of the things that I heard over time, and I started really kind of taking to heart and praying about, and our band started talking about it, was it really felt like a lot of Christians we were talking to felt hopeless. Like,
Mm.
and that was something they would struggle with and say, hey, we're
Hmm.
going through this situation. Your song encouraged me. I felt hopeless. I felt like there was no hope. And that always had a little part of the back of my brain as a believer where I thought that how does that even happen? Like, I mean, because I've
Hmm.
always thought, Jesus doesn't give us hope. He is our hope. Like we
Right.
believe in him and
Yeah.
therefore we have hope. It's that belief. And I just started thinking, what are we teaching people? What are we
Yep.
singing to people?
Yeah.
And that kind of conversation over the last few years has just been like, we really need to sing songs reminding people of who hope is and then what believing him offers us, right?
Mm-hmm.
And so this song kind of came from one of these conversations of like, the only difference between who we were or that fear person or that person who's here, and that is just a belief in Jesus, right? Like it's just
Mm-hmm.
our core belief in who he is changes us, changes our outcome, changes. And when I say
Yeah.
our outcome, I don't mean it's like pouring out favors on us. It's
Right.
that we can walk through anything because our
Yeah.
belief is that he doesn't leave us, forsake us. So this
Yeah.
song turned into this anthemic kind of declaration. It didn't really start that way.
Yeah.
It kind of felt more like, hey, it kind of felt like we wanted just to tell people that the only difference between fear me and contented me was Jesus.
Mm-hmm.
And then as the song developed, it morphed into we're gonna tell God. Like we just want
Mm-hmm.
like and then through
You
that
are the
declaration
difference. Yes.
have people into it. And I'll be honest, these conversations, we're not necessarily looked at as a worship band, corporate worship type of thing.
Mm-hmm.
And I come from that background, but I don't think we didn't write this song as a corporate worship song. Like there's
Right.
nothing in us when we released it that thought I'd be talking to
Yeah.
PraiseCharts right now. It's kind of been what God did with the song. Like, okay,
Yeah.
this is a song that is a corporate, and we're just happy that it's reflecting. But we don't want people to miss that message. That
No.
it is deeper when you dig into this stuff. What being a believer really does mean to
Yes.
us.
Yes. You know what I have found as a part of Praise Charts is don't assume you know exactly the formula of what is a corporate worship song because the church is going to sing what it wants to sing. And if it finds, I
Right.
mean, there are so many songs in the deep catalog that we have in Praise Charts that I'd be like, that was not made for the church. I don't know
Right.
why they're singing that, but they will do what they want to do if you
Yeah.
write the songs, right? And so
Yeah.
some songs they don't want to sing, and we think this is going to be a super hit, and other songs connect. So I think it's kind of cool that
Right.
you're saying you didn't necessarily write it. I mean, if you did, you might have, I don't know, had all these different thoughts about it, but you. And I
Right.
like also you're saying you go into songwriting session. I've talked to lots of songwriters who if you go in too much with a prescribed idea of, oh, I have this hook and I have this idea and I can't wait to just tell the guy, let's finish my song,
Yeah.
and you miss the relationship that's right in front of you, right? The
Yeah.
that has
Yeah.
to start with an hour, half an hour long conversation. That's pretty fascinating.
Yeah. Well,
Hmm.
songwriting is a strange thing. It's sometimes you're
Mm-hmm.
like get with strangers and you're bare your soul, and hopefully they
Right.
like what you like. It's very we say it a
Yes.
lot at the beginning of rides. Okay, here we go. But we have guys friends
Right.
now, and it's always amazing. I think how much deeper a song is when it comes from a place of a conversation, right? When
Mm-hmm.
it's not like, oh, this title sounds cool, so let's write around a cool sounding title
Mm-hmm.
and then fit Jesus into the concept. Where
Yes.
for us it's more of let's have a conversation of where we're at, all of us, and
Yes.
then we'll build off of what we're all feeling and thinking about in our lives. And it just seems to be a richer way to write
Yes.
music, at least
Yeah,
for us.
for sure. Hey, I know you guys made a video of this song in a kind of a unique setting. I've got some pictures from that video, and I thought it might be fun if I'll just show some of these shots, and maybe you can kind of walk me through some of the people, the vibe. I mean, every video tells a bit of a story. You're trying to create this like
Yeah.
word picture. What are you saying here? And who are these folks? Where is this? What's the vibe you're trying to create?
That's a middle-aged dad trying to look cool, is what
Okay,
that.
doing very well. Okay, even cooler there. Yes,
Yeah, I mean,
well posed.
when let's be really real for a second.
Okay,
I joined the band 10 years ago, right? Like, and
yeah.
being in a band, stuff I was comfortable with was being on stage, singing songs into a microphone, and writing music. What I wasn't unaware of and what I wasn't comfortable with was trying to look cool while lip syncing in odd environments. And so
Okay.
music videos have always been the thing that I've had to get over myself, and
Yeah,
because I am way too self-aware to be like, oh boy, this is silly.
there you
Um,
go. All right.
so when
Well,
I
maybe I
when I
won't
see this
focus
kind of
on
stuff,
you so much. Let's focus on someone else. Seriously, nobody wants to stare at
yeah,
themselves.
it's well, I think what we wanted with this song, the feeling of it, it's acoustic and kind of guitar driven. We wanted it to feel
Yeah.
organic. We wanted it to feel
Okay.
real. Music videos at their core, unless you're doing a performance video, they're not real. And so we were
Hmm.
like, how do we give a feeling of real without going over the top? We weren't gonna, do some weird thing. So we found this cool house, and
Yes.
Chris, who you're looking at right there, he's an incredibly talented videographer. Um,
Okay.
he he does most of our music videos.
Yeah.
So almost all the music videos you see over the last 10 years, he's kind of directed, edited, and he shoots most of them. But stuff like this, I'll shoot. So I shoot some of
Oh,
the shots for him, and
yes.
so it's kind of we try to keep everything as authentic as we can.
Yeah.
Here's the deal: we're middle-aged guys. We've been
Yeah.
around a long time. We have no sizzle. We're not
Yeah.
dressing up in costumes, right? We don't
Yes.
have the fresh new car smell.
Yeah. Yeah.
So for us, what we really are trying to do is be consistent, stable, and mess in our message, even in our appearance. Like we
Yes.
just we don't want it to be about the flash. We want it to be about the steadiness, and
Yes.
we try to reflect that in our videos, and
Yeah.
lighting, the mood, and all that kind of stuff. Really, everything is to create. It's kind of like a worship environment where you're just trying to create a space of
Hmm.
comfort for people to engage.
Hmm.
And honestly, that's kind of what we did with this music video.
Yeah. And I heard there's
That's
something,
Dan.
is this the bass player? So isn't there a
That
little
is.
story about Dan kind of coming back in, or
Yeah.
what's the story of Dan?
So Dan is the longest running bass player in Sanctus Real's history. He played.
Hmm.
I don't know exactly the years, but actually the first video or the first picture of the old Sanctus that you had,
Mm-hmm.
that's
Mm-hmm.
not that one of your,
Oh
yeah,
yes.
was
Okay, I'll
Dan.
find it. I'll find it. Yeah.
The one right, I think it's the one right before
Yeah.
that. That one.
Yes.
So Dan
Okay,
is
gotcha.
he's in that picture. He's the guy
Okay.
second from left with next to the guy with the beard. He has
Okay,
way
gotcha.
cooler hair.
Yeah.
Uh, and when I joined 10 years ago, Dan and Pete were the guys that they were in it for the longest time, and so they just had a great relationship with. Still do. I know both the guys, and I wasn't even in a band with them.
Yeah.
And Dan, we've wanted him to just come out and play with us some if he could. And he toured with us over Christmas, and we had a great time. And so we started playing the difference over Christmas on an acoustic level. Like we were just kind of doing acoustic.
Yeah.
And he was playing bass and he played some incredibly cool stuff. And it was so much fun. So when it came time to put the song out, we just said, hey, Dan, you just want to play bass on the song, right? Like, come
Mm-hmm.
on back. And
Right.
he loves the band, and so we did that. And then when the music video came about, it was just, hey, you've done all this already, you might as well just be in the music video.
Yes.
video.
Yes.
And a lot of the old school Sanctus fans know and love Dan, and so it's kind of
Yes.
this kind of meeting point of two worlds, and it's been kind of cool to see. We love Dan's such a great guy.
Yeah.
We would take him back in a heartbeat if we could pay him as much as the stuff he's currently doing.
Well, I think it's great. There's a story of, like you say, reinvention of who Sanctus Real is, but you still honor the place that you came from, and people that were there along the way. I think this is so special to have him. I'm sure he loves it as well. Just like, I
Yeah.
mean, for me, I'm a worship pastor, and now, or I was a worship pastor, and then I went on a journey of my life, and now I'm back at the same church. It's kind of like that's my old band, you know, they're my old people,
Yeah, right.
but they sort of welcome me back, and I'm there in a different element. I'm not like the pastor anymore. I just am a
Yeah,
volunteer, just like everyone else. But
yeah.
they're a part of my story. I'm a part of their story. It's very
I need to have
grassroots in that
my
way.
Ryan. I need to have my own podcast and have people like you on so I can hear your story of how you got this thing started. Because I'm
Yeah.
sure there's a great praise chart story in here.
Yes.
So,
Well, funny enough, someone interviewed me yesterday because sometimes I get to be on other podcasts, and we told that
yeah,
whole story.
yeah.
So I'll have to send you
Okay,
the link. How about you can watch
okay.
that, and it's out there in the Webiverse somewheres. But
Love it.
or we could just like stick around after this show, and I'll tell you
Yeah,
my story
I'll
if
just
you want. You can
record it on
interview
my
me.
phone or something. Yeah.
That's right. No, it's a good story, and like Sanctus Real, real authentic life worship is all about coming to the table with your real story and trying to, I mean, we all want to tell our
Yeah,
story too, right? We got something unique to say, and I think it's fascinating. So that's kind of why we do this podcast. I was
right,
even just thinking that behind every band, behind every song is a story. And, we don't just sell sheet music and get people to play our
right.
songs. We want to know the people behind it. So thank you very much for sharing your story. I'm glad you're a part of the band and making some new music. And I'm glad this song is finding its way into churches. So I hope people will
Yeah,
will sing
indeed.
it and yeah, make a difference. Right on.
Love it. Thank you, man. Appreciate you.
So good. All right. Well, this is Ryan Dahl with the Sanctus Real lead singer. Dustin, good to have you here and hope you feel encouraged and inspired today. See you later.